But yeah, as I said to you before, Rory, what did you make of England's performance in this game?
I think it was totally uninspiring. I didn't see anything that we didn't know already. Look, it's all very well for us to go, England have qualified for 2024, which is, of course, significant. England have qualified with 2 games to spare, which is impressive in itself. But of course we have. Obviously we have. So we should. We're far and away the best team in that group. Like, okay, great. We've qualified with 2 games to spare. We've topped a group containing what? Malta? Ukraine? Yeah, of course we have. We've beaten an Italy team. First time we've beaten Italy in Italy since, 1977 or whatever that stat was. Okay, that's all very, very important and very relevant. But you have to appreciate the context.
Yeah. It's expected, isn't it? It's
totally expected. England are brilliant. This is our golden generation. This is incomparable to basically anything that has ever happened in my lifetime watching an England team play. The best centre-forward in the world is English, non-negotiably. Yep. The best central midfielder currently playing the game is English, non-negotiably. An English side just won a treble. Another English side just won a European. Yeah, okay, yeah, of course we qualified. Also, we're playing an Italy team. Italy as a nation are a true footballing great. They are one of the great footballing nations, full of romanticism and history and prestige, and I love it. I love Italy. But this is a ridiculously average Italy team.
Yeah, like not where they once were.
Scamacca leading the line and scoring. Like where's the...
Even he looks surprised when he scores.
Where's the Gianfranco Zolas? Yeah. Where's the Paolo Maldinis? Where's the Schillacis? Where are the icons of Italian football? They're not there at the moment. So yeah, we beat Italy home and away. We've done a double over and fantastic. But this is an Italian team that hasn't qualified for the last 2 World Cups.
Okay, so that's the context. But why do you say that England were uninspiring? Because actually, you could argue in the second half, especially with a couple of those goals, they did play some brilliant football.
What did we do that made it so good? Okay, you got Harry Kane, a masterclass of a goal, a true centre forwards strike that is basically unstoppable. When he does that, picks the ball up in the way that he does, beats a man in the way that he does, drives at the heart of the defence in the way that he does, and finishes past Donnarumma in the way that he does. What can anyone do? So that isn't inspired management or brilliant team play. Yeah. That is Harry Kane being the best centre-forward in the world. Okay, great. In other news, Harry Kane scores a great goal. In other news, water's wet. Yeah, fine, he did it. Right. Jude Bellingham creates a goal when Marcus Rashford finishes. Yeah, but okay, again, it's what he does. This isn't brilliant team play or astute management. The management is he picked Jude Bellingham. There isn't a manager alive. There isn't a person alive that doesn't have Jude Bellingham playing in a number 10 for England.
So just to be clear, so your main issues at the moment with Southgate are selection and also a lack of tactics.
My issue is that I believe, I think there is an outside chance that England could, in spite of our distinctly average manager, win a tournament. I think that we could go to Berlin in the final,
but it would all be in spite of it.
It would be in spite of the manager. Whereas I believe that this England team was so good that if the FA wasn't cowardly and didn't hide and made a bold choice now, England will guarantee success. So yeah,
who would you bring in if you could?
Look, I read that Jose Mourinho's leaving Roma at the end of the season. Feels like a perfect scenario to me. That.
Well, he's a man who knows how to win a tournament.
Well, yeah, you have the option.
Do you think that his style? It's not.
Jose Mourinho is a serial winner. He is a serial European Cup winner.
I know he is. And I completely understand your argument. But you've just said there, one of the biggest issues with Southgate, and it's been an issue for a long time, is his conservatism. Jose Mourinho doesn't exactly have a reputation for playing the most wonderful attacking football. No,
he doesn't, and he can be a very defensive manager. But also, we have to tell the full story. And I know you know the full story, so don't try it with me, Clink. The full story is Mourinho can be incredibly negative and incredibly defensive, and he sets a team up to make sure that they don't lose. Yeah, that's all true, and you know it. But you also know that some of the most pulsating football that the Premier League has ever seen, with Damien Duff on one side, Arjen Robben on the other, Eden Hazard scoring goals, playing brilliantly, Didier Drogba absolutely unplayable, Frank Lampard, second best player in the world at the time, Jose Mourinho. So yeah, some of the most pulsating attacking football, Michael Essien, Frank Lampard, Arjen Robben, Damien Duff, Nicolas Anel, whatever. Jose Mourinho.
And he would get the best out of this England squad.
Look, the Jose Mourinho point, maybe it's almost said slightly tongue-in-cheek, slightly facetiously. I'm a Chelsea fan, I love Mourinho, and I like the idea of him managing England, but the sense behind it and the salient point behind it is employ someone who is a proven winner, somebody who has a track record and somebody who you can see winning silverware. With Gareth Southgate, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have Jude Bellingham as the best midfielder in the world. It doesn't matter if you have Harry Kane as the best centre forward in the world, because ultimately, when it has mattered, we have seen Gareth Southgate get totally and utterly outclassed. Like, look, okay, played Italy and beat them at Wembley. When Italy turn up to play England, I think of two things. I think of Gianfranco Zola leaving Sol Campbell's for dust and scoring a fantastic goal and Ian Walker conceding. That's what I think of. And then I think of the most inept managerial performance that I have ever seen in the history of the game. Southgate versus Mancini. England are playing in a final at home to a distinctly average Italian team. An Italian team who did not qualify for either World Cup, either side of that tournament. We go 1-0 up after 3 minutes. We're at home against a terrible team, and we're 1-0 up after 3 minutes. The game went 120 minutes. England didn't have another shot on target after 3 minutes. That's tactical. Gareth Southgate allowed Mancini to dictate the tempo. Gareth Southgate allowed Jorginho, of all players, one of the most underwhelming players it could possibly be up against in a final, Jorginho to dictate the tempo of the game. So it's all very well telling me that England look great and Kane looks fantastic and whatever. But I've seen it. I've seen Southgate totally ruin it time and time and time again. So why do I believe it's going to be any different in Berlin?
It's funny because a lot of people who have a problem with Southgate tend to focus actually as well on the selection of some of these players that you know, and this is the thing that frustrates me the most, to be honest with you. And actually, Rory, to be honest, I agree with a lot of what you're saying here. For a long time, I've kind of been not a Southgate defender, but I've kind of given him the benefit of the doubt. But watching some of that first half against Italy, it's just ridiculous. And you could tell with a lot of these players, Calvin Phillips, for example, getting booked after 8 minutes. And, like, in a way, you're kind of like, well, fair play to you, mate. You're not even playing.
No, it's atrocious that Calvin Phillips is being selected.
How is he starting for England?
It's
it
atrocious.
makes no sense.
Like, Jordan Henderson, by his own decision-making, well, a decision I have no issue with, by the way. He wanted to secure the furtherance of his wealth, and therefore he made a decision to head over to Saudi Arabia. He will gain an awful lot from that. Jordan Henderson, as an individual, going to Saudi will benefit loads. But there are also some penalties that you have to face. His reputation with regard to certain issues has taken a hit. His England career was over. His England career, the second that he made that move, is over. Yeah. So he shouldn't be anywhere near it.
I don't know about you, Rory. I've just got a bit of a problem with the fact that he goes over there to play his football. He himself, as you said, has said that the standard of football is lower.
Played in front of 200 people the other week.
And there are other players, all right, there might not be exact like-for-like replacements, but James Ward-Prowse
being left out for Jordan Henderson is sackable, in fact.
Listen, you might laugh at me. Even Sean Longstaff's got a case. He plays a better standard of football at the moment than Jordan Henderson. And so to take him, just purely on the basis of he's won a lot of stuff, brilliant, absolutely brilliant, fair play. He's won the lot. Brilliant.
Should we get Wayne Rooney in the squad then?
Exactly. You don't have to take him as a player.
No.
Just take him, bring him along with the squad.
No.
He doesn't have to take the role of someone else who could offer more in a playing sense for England.
Completely agree. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And this is why I'm so underwhelmed by England beating Italy. I imagine, and I hope that this isn't the case, to anybody listening or watching to this, I hope that they don't think that this is just like incredibly flat and you and I are just beating up Gareth Southgate for no reason. The reason that we're doing it is because we know that this England team is generationally brilliant. You've got players such as Raheem Sterling, who's playing very well for Chelsea, not getting a look in. He's not, like, can't get. You could easily make a case that James Maddison, player of the season so far, James Maddison isn't good enough to play for England. You could say that and not be insane. The best player in the Premier League this season is arguably not good enough to play for England. That is how good this England team are.
Yeah, purely based on the other talent. I see what you're saying.
And basically, we're not going to win anything. We're not going to win anything. It's going to take a miracle, and we're going to have to win in spite of rather than because of our manager. Despite
that, I know this sounds like a bit of a bizarre question given what you've just said, but on paper, would you say that we're the favourites for the Euros?
Yeah. Second, maybe.
To France? Yeah.
Second, maybe to France. But
you don't see us winning it
Look
at
the big contender. No, because I think as soon as we come up, it doesn't have to be them. It doesn't have to be France to knock us out. We come up against the Spain team that we're clearly better than, they'll beat us because Southgate will be out thunk. We come up against a team that are clearly beatable. Germany are in disarray. Germany beat us. Germany beat us in
Well, they'd
Berlin.
be at home, wouldn't they? They'd have a home
Germany would beat us
advantage,
in Berlin because we would
It's
pick
almost like- it's a
Harry
mental
Maguire
block.
at the back or something ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a mental block, isn't it? And it's also, to do with those selections and those tactics as well. We're kind of on the same page there.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.